Hello, my name is Cuhlaymore, and welcome to the Pointy Stick Podcast. To begin here, I'm going to roll a d20 with this particular die, and it will determine how good this episode will go.
This is really
natural one incoming.
Terrible.
We have a natural 19.
Our best episode yet.
A natural 19. It's backwards, but I swear that's a 19.
Unless it was a saving throw, and now we're going to lose.
Oh, that Jesus Christ.
Like a 61 to me.
A 61?
Yep.
So yeah, again, welcome to the Pointy Stick Podcast. Like I said, I am Cuhlaymore. As always, I have my co-host, Stefan, a.k.a. SuperSheepin.
Purveyor of memes.
Purveyor of memes, especially terrible SpongeBob ones that we will never speak of again. Once again...
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Once again, I have my friends Dom and Joe, a.k.a. Domsmash, and Mezzerschmidt here from last time. Because we're here to talk about Stranger Things, which you may have heard of, is a very popular show on Netflix. Basically, we're going to be here to gush about it for about 90 minutes or so, because it's a show that we all freaking love.
I'm pretty sure it's Netflix's worst reviewed show.
Okay,
actually.
like...
Yes, we are alone in like this show.
Yeah.
We are absolutely alone.
I don't think I've ever
space.
talked to somebody just out and about who's like, yeah, I like Stranger Things. And pretty much everyone's just like,
Well, it makes sense, right? Because Netflix cancels all the shows that are highly rated. So obviously, the fact that this has 4 seasons means it's a bomb.
Oh no. You're right, they do
Right?
cancel quite a few shows. Like, that much is true.
yeah, the fact that it got a season 4 means it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just in
sense.
general, it's like personally, like like even on like dating apps and just forums everywhere, even like r/Netflix is like, oh, Netflix. What am I even saying? Stranger Things is the absolute last thing that people talk about. It's absolutely just completely unpopular. But in all seriousness,
Not like it's taken over.
Yeah, I lost interest after because Barb.
Barb was the best character.
No.
Yeah,
Barb.
After that, it just went downhill.
Dude, Barb got
Justice
so
for Barb,
wrecked.
man.
Justice for
dude.
Barb. In case it wasn't clear enough already, this entire discussion is going to contain spoilers. So get the hell out if you haven't seen this show. In fact, why are you even here? Go watch this friggin' show. It's amazing.
Just cut it off. Why are you even here?
Why are you here? What are you doing with your life?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here. I'm not getting paid for this.
You're here to watch Stranger Things.
Why are any of us here on this liminal plane?
We're getting existential now. Yeah, so I wanted to do an episode on this because when season 4 just came out recently, you guys, all of you, were gonna watch it regardless.
Finally catch up.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame.
Hey, we're not talking about Game of Thrones here. Come on.
How are you not already caught up by the time season 4 came out?
Yeah, really.
We were all waiting for like 2 years. Or more.
How dare you not suffer alongside us?
Yeah, exactly.
It's because it's a bad show. He didn't watch it.
Yeah, exactly. So like at the time, I'd only watched season 1 at first, but I decided on watching the rest, when you guys after you guys had watched it. So I mean, that's one main reason why I have you guys here, and also because
after we had watched the first 7 episodes or whatever it was, and then realized we had to wait a month.
Oh,
and,
yeah, you're right.
Hated ourselves for it.
For season 4.
Yeah, just like in that section. Right there. Yeah.
It's the same with any anime show. Like, wait till it's over, or do the 3-episode rule, and then wait for the
but
end.
normally you don't have to wait a month.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes with 2 halves of a show, you have to wait several months.
Yeah.
But aside from that, in case you have been living under a rock, or in case you're well, as dumb as a rock. We're all being sarcastic as fuck.
I'm not.
Insulting your audience.
Okay.
Yeah, our audience are literal rocks. So why are you insulting them?
Okay, they're not that dumb.
Not a boulder.
They're smarter than we
The
are.
boulder
No,
is watching the
Oh
Pointy.
no, I'm calling you out. The fact that you're watching us means you're dumb.
Oh my god. The show is absolutely fantastic.
Wait, what does that make us?
Something I'm not going to say on camera because I don't want to get canceled.
No.
Just very dumb.
In all seriousness, the show is absolutely fantastic. It does so many things so well, and it does it just seamlessly. As I rewatched season 1 and got through the seasons after, like even you guys rewatching it alongside me, it's definitely one of those shows that is more of an experience. As cheesy as that sounds, like I really do think that's true. When you're actually watching an episodic show, it's one of those shows where like not only like as soon as the episode ends, you're like, why can't it just keep going, you know? But like even within the episode, as it's going from scene to scene, it feels so natural in terms of how time and events are progressing. And I think it's like that sort of feeling speaks volumes when there's such a huge appeal to so many people from so many angles. And we'll get into all of those angles, but not just like, say, the music, if you enjoy, you know, like, say, synthy music or stuff from the 80s, or whether it's horror or supernatural stuff, even drama and romance, even like more stuff like if you enjoy a good story or the writing, it just all comes together so smoothly as like a big 80s nostalgia bomb. As much as none of us grew up during that era, but it's at least so obvious, you know. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, Stefan, just like general thoughts on the matter, like the show in general.
Well, yeah, I mean, it obviously relies really hard on 80s nostalgia bait, and even though you mentioned none of us grew up in the 80s, but so much of the media that we consumed was still inspired by the 80s. I mean, I remember, like, one of my favorite movies growing up was Back to the Future. Right?
Oh, hell
like,
yeah.
That's quintessential 80s, right? Or even something like The Goonies, right?
I need to rewatch that.
So even though, yeah, sure, we didn't grow up through the 80s, we still very much were raised on 80s content. So
that's true.
Something like this definitely hits and checks some boxes. I mean, think about even like the cartoons that you watch on, you know, like it's
just so much.
It checks, it checks all those boxes, and for what I mean, this kind of made 80s nostalgia bait popular again. I remember after season 1 dropped, everyone was super into 80s music again for a little bit, and I think that contributes very highly to why it's so popular. Is people are just very nostalgic. Like even our generation, and then the generation before us, and I think even the generation before that, when they were like in their 20s during the 80s, there was just so much good media that was coming out at that time, and I think it was such a memorable time in history because of where our technology was at that time. It was like very mature compared to what came before it, but it was still like a lot of the things that we enjoy now that was in its infancy, right? So even stuff like video games, and I think 80s movies from a technical standpoint did a lot better than eras before it. And the 80s was also really big the 80s was really big for the horror genre. And that is, we're coming kind of full circle. Stranger Things is a horror / thriller, right? And it's like, it was born from those 80s slasher films.
Oh yeah, like some of the inspirations the directors said came, I mean, if it wasn't clear enough that it came from the 80s, there's references beyond references, not just like mentions of things in the show, but just like one of the YouTubers we follow, Chris Stuckman, mentioned in one of his videos way back when season 1 came out in like 2016 or so. Season 1, there are so many parallels that you could just put season 1 next to the movie E.T. And there's just so many things there that you could just like not exactly the same, but like, oh, there's a group of kids hiding something in the basement. There's a bike riding scene where they're taking Elle with them, just like they took E.T. on a bike ride. The creature in this case has strange powers. I mean,
Right.
it's not necessarily a negative thing, even though like it might be a little derivative, but at the same time, it's like it goes just so much even beyond just all the references, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, and some of them aren't even as overt as that. Not to hog up all the talk time here,
maybe.
but like, yeah, that's a very overt reference to ET. But even something small, like in season 4, the villain is very clearly referencing Freddy Krueger. The original Freddy Krueger actor
I didn't think of that.
plays a character in that season.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I forgot
like,
about that.
that's even kind of like, it's not necessarily subtle for people who know what they're looking for, but like it isn't just overtly saying like, "Hey, this is Freddy Krueger," right? So
Yeah. Like, what other references can we think of here? Because I like there's so much I think we could get into with this, but like,
I feel like there's an elephant in the room in terms of references.
Yeah, go for it. Like
E.T. Like this show is so close to E.T., especially season 1, where you got 3 kids hiding in a basement, concealing a.
Hey Dom,
What's up?
Are you not listening to Rush?
I just finished talking about that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, you went on for a very long time.
Yeah,
we should have just let him go all the way.
That was really good.
Oh, damn it! Just
that's okay. That's
to
okay.
It. Fuck.
That's okay. There's a lot of other movies too. Like they reference. What was another one that I had in my notes here? They reference a lot of other just movies too, like Stephen King novels. I mean, like the font of the show itself, Stranger Things. Like even like the style where like, you know, in the opening credits where they like just zoom in and it goes through like the E in thing or Stranger. I can't spell. I'm sorry. That I don't know the exact movie, but I read that it was very heavily influenced by some of the movies that were based on Stephen King novels. And Dom, like you're the English major here. Like, what do you know any Stephen King novels that this could be that I could be thinking of here? I mean, I don't read books. I'm sorry.
I've mostly read his Dark Tower, which only has like the vaguest of connections to Stranger Things, but I think a lot of other people have talked about like Carrie, which was a film that came out.
Oh yeah.
Like that's kind of like a darker version of 11.
That's the one with the girl
actually
that
like sort of a villain character.
Yeah,
the girl with that kind of
psychic powers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I couldn't remember what it was at first, but yeah, that's.
I think there's a dance in that one too, right?
There was.
Yeah, like a prom.
Or like a high school prom. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
something like that.
Yeah. Well, like so many scenes like that. It's so interesting that they take so many of these references, not only at surface level, but just stuff like that, where it's not that it's like a spoof of them, but it's like a nod.
Yeah, it's paying homage to it.
Yeah.
Since we've been talking and since we're just laying out references, I don't know how much longer we want to dwell on this subject, but
go for it.
And Stephen King, I was thinking It, right? Like it's a group of kids and like this monster. Sure, it's not like a clown or anything, but
no, but it kind of
like the Demogorgon could fill in that role easily, right?
Yeah, it's just like a group of kids as they're kind of growing up with this evil in their town, right?
Yeah. It snatches kids away, and like doesn't live in the sewers, but it lives in the upside down sort of thing. Like
in the upside down.
Pretty good analogy.
What's the line from It?
I don't know.
I have never seen it, so
I haven't either. There's like a line that they say, like when one of the kids approaches the sewer with the balloon floating, it's like everybody floats down here.
Yes, yeah.
In the upside down, everybody floats. Everybody floats up there. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Dots down there.
Everybody dies.
Everybody just dies. Nobody floats. They just die.
Yeah.
Oh my god. In case it wasn't obvious too, we're gonna be jumping around between various seasons here too, like no order. We're gushing about this shit for 90 minutes, so deal with it.
There was like other. One of the seasons was like Body Snatchers, right? That was like an homage to Body Snatchers.
Season 3 with the Mind Flayer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Body Snatchers, Pod People, kind of.
I mean, just in general, whether or not there are all references, I just enjoy the theming of each season. You know, like how every season is kind of like a contained theme of a story.
Oh yeah.
And they introduce it all in episode 1. You know what they're going to do, essentially, right? Like episode 1 of season 1, they introduced the Demogorgon, and that was the main villain. And they kind of like even that campaign kind of laid out how things were going to happen. I can't remember. There was like a movie in season 2 that they were watching, and then it all followed from there too, right? Or was that season 3? No, maybe it was season 3 because that was like the introduction of the mall.
Yeah,
that was like they were watching a movie, and then movie basically framed the whole season. I just like how they do that, but I don't know that's
a quick side note. How much work do you think they put into getting that mall to look like it was from the 80s in season 3? Like one of you, somebody mentioned that. I can't remember if it was one of you or if it was like Mark or Jonathan, but like that was like that is super impressive. Like the set design in this is super good too. I mean,
there's got to be a mall somewhere in America that still has that.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, they probably just drove out to Iowa. They didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I would think, but maybe like they probably did change some stuff. But
yeah.
Or maybe they made them all on a set. Who knows? Like that's equally possible.
Probably either just drove out to Iowa or visited Jay in Ohio.
Oh, the show takes place in Indiana too, right? I mean, it's not that far.
No, I think there's something to be said because there are some naysayers, and usually just ignore them because the show is pretty great. But some of the naysayers will say something like along the lines of how Stranger Things is not a very original show. And it's not. It's definitely not. But I think there's something to be said with taking a formula and kind of perfecting it. There are some other shows we've watched recently. I don't know how many people out there are anime enjoyers, but like a parallel that I have is something with like Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm only going to mention it. I'm not going to go into detail of what that is because that's not what this episode is about.
But I know I need to watch it. You don't.
This entire episode is comparing Jujutsu Kaisen to Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's just about taking the idea that you have inherited from somebody else and just tweaking the formula, making it a little bit more your own, and perfecting it. And I think
like boiling it down.
Yeah, I think Stranger Things does that because nothing about it is really original, but I don't think that that's a hindrance at all.
Yeah, it's a fair criticism, but like at the same time, just because something is derivative doesn't inherently mean it's bad, right?
There's a ton of really original things that suck as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's kind of a give and take between originality and just executing really well on a concept.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely like So like I guess
What are you laughing about, Stefan?
He's
Nothing.
sending SpongeBob memes.
Oh my God.
specifically SpongeBob memes relating to Stranger
Stranger
Things. Like there's a picture of Plankton with like a really long, like standing on a guitar with a really like long like flow of hair.
You're gonna have to show this in the podcast.
Oh my God! I'll edit it in. I will. It's a tweet of an Eddie Munson stan saying Eddie Munson with like 6 question marks.
Pretty good.
That is pretty good. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Remind me to put that in. Damn it. Oh, what I was gonna say about the whole derivative thing was just because the show feels derivative, or that it's quote unquote lacking in creativity, if you can even call it that, that is definitely overstating it, because for one thing, part of the point of the show is 80s nostalgia. So having a ton of derivations and references to the source material, that's logical. Like, that's the point, right? And sure, I guess you could say like having a bunch of callbacks or references can be a problem if you do that too much, right? Or if you make it like super obvious, you know? Perhaps that's one thing that you could argue here, but if they're done well, like you said, Stefan, like if it's done well, like if you would perfect the craft and it doesn't override the rest of the show, then I don't really mind it, right? Like I don't think from an average viewer's point of view, like you wouldn't mind it.
Right.
Even like the stuff that mostly comes from the 80s. I mean, all of us were like early 90s, I think. Dom, you were probably like late 80s, I think. Or
I was born in '89.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, all of us were like at the turn of the decade, basically.
So I was definitely very active in the '80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
quintessential 80s kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like even if like we didn't grow up with it, we were probably shown a lot of it by our parents, or in one form or the other. Like at the turn of the decade, it was probably on its way out or something, but it was all just it's all just stuff that is very referential to things that stuff in the 90s kind of evolved from in a lot of ways.
It was still very culturally relevant, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't think any of the references or any of that other stuff that they basically, you can say, is derivative ever really took away from the story, though.
Yeah.
I don't think it pulled you out of it.
Exactly.
They did the theming and the groundwork so well that it felt like it just fit in. So,
Right.
Yeah.
There was also never a moment where you're like, oh, they're referencing this, I know what's going to happen now.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the
you
story
might
was
have
well written originally.
You might have some ideas about the themes,
Yeah.
but like you couldn't just call out the ending.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, especially in season 4, I was
yeah,
like,
we were.
well,
That's true. The D&D references too.
Yeah, and I guess we said, well, we can get into spoilers, but like with season 4 specifically, I remember we were sitting on the couch putting the puzzle pieces together, and we're like, Vecna has to be one, right? But wait, what about the stuff that happened in the 60s? How does that fit in? I don't know
Yep.
how that fits in. So like
I
I
remember you talking about that.
I felt like I knew everything that was going to happen, or that where it was going, but because it had this one piece that didn't quite fit with my thoughts, I wasn't entirely sure. And it wasn't until they actually showed me how the 60s shit fit in that I'm like, aha, okay, yes, I was right. I feel great about that, but I'm also glad that I didn't have the entire picture from after like 3 episodes.
I think season 4 did that a little bit better than the other seasons too, in that there was a little bit more ambiguity throughout. Like some things where in season 1, for instance, there's a guess that's taken at how a thing works, and it's just is how the thing works. Where in season 4, there's a little bit more of like, maybe this is how it's going, or maybe that.
Right.
And you're not really sure. You kind of get some answers at the end, but they did they did a little bit more obscuring of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Season 4 was like that quite a bit because they're now approaching the grand finale of the show. Season 5 will be the last season. They probably fit a lot more into season 4 too. Not only because of that, but the episodes were like an hour and a half long compared to like less than an hour too. It was kind of cool to just have more Stranger Things to watch for longer. Unless you're these guys and you had to wait a month for the 2.5 hour finale. But even then, like making a 2.5 hour finale.
It wasn't just the finale; it was that and the episode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like holy
We
shit!
had to pause, like at one point and be like, "Holy shit,
What's gonna happen?" Oh man. But yeah, like Joe, you're saying like season 4 was differing a little from the older seasons. Not only just from like leading toward the finality, but like you were saying like there's more ambiguity baked into season 4 compared to past seasons too, right?
I think there was just they had more time to play with, so I think they wanted a little bit more breadcrumbs to be spread around. A little bit, maybe
Makes sense.
they wanted people guessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also a part of why they split the season. They wanted these theories swirling around and stuff. It makes sense. It definitely hyped up the show and everything.
The marketing team is really good.
I had the one main issue I had with that was, again, spoilers. The fact
You're
that
fine, man.
the fact that everyone was like theorizing like, oh, who's the character that's gonna die? And just by virtue of like reading all those articles and seeing like, oh yeah, there is going to be a character that dies, I felt
I didn't read those.
for me sort of cheapened that the fact that Eddie dies. Not that the scene wasn't done well, not that like his. I mean, we'll talk about the Metallica scene later. That was the sickest scene in the entire season.
Oh my fucking god!
But it was just like I was, instead of sitting there just trying to take in the experience, part of me was sitting there waiting to see who it was that was going to die, and that kind of sucked.
For better or worse,
the show was baiting us all there too. It wasn't just the articles.
Like, they were throwing death flags around, man.
How many death flags were there for everyone?
Like holy shit!
But it
Jonathan, Steve, and
Robin,
Max, and Robin.
It would have been a little bit better if it was more organic, though, without the break, because there was just like the internet for like a month literally was on fire with like, oh, I hope it's Jonathan that dies because he's a pothead now.
Oh,
and it's
my
like,
God.
Just fucking watch the show.
Yeah. It's I do agree that first of all, I didn't experience that, so I can't really relate, right? But like,
yeah, I'm a little jealous of you.
But I guess like I understand why they did it and why it is annoying. For better or worse, it does keep you guessing, but at the same time, it's like it'd be cool to like find out this happening in a vanilla manner rather than having the expectation and wondering, you know. That in itself could be something appealing too, like keeping like it's gonna make you come back to the show because you are wondering, but like at the same time, not having that expectation is its own kind of special feeling too, right? Like is anybody gonna die, or rather than who's gonna die, you know?
Yeah, it's all clickbait too. Like
I stayed away from the articles, so
you're
better than I am because I'd go on Reddit and that's all I would fucking see.
I'm like you, man. I can't stop. I can't not read the news. You know,
if you don't read the articles, just seeing the like titles of all of these articles pop up.
It's even worse because that's what I do.
It's almost as bad.
Yeah, and that has nothing to do with the show. Like the show can't control it. That's just like, and that,
you know.
I guess that we could talk about that in another topic, but just like clickbait culture around media. Right?
Yeah, that is something we could talk about for sure.
It wouldn't happen if it didn't work.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah,
they're all trying to get paid.
Yeah, you know. But yeah,
Me too. Please pay me.
Where's your Patreon?
Hey,
My Patreon for all my 50 subs. Yeah, that
and my
wouldn't
20?
that would absolutely go over well here. That wouldn't look like I was being.
Here's my
absolutely
Patreon. I
desperate.
create no additional content for it.
oh
Yeah.
my God, do you like what I do? Tip jar, basically.
Do you want to see me take my shirt off? Patreon.
That's
a
your
different
OnlyFans.
site.
That's a
different
cold
site.
ones thing.
I guess that okay. Well, okay. So it's an OnlyFans, but you get the link to my page from my Patreon. You have to subscribe to both.
You subscribe to one, and you get a link
the
that goes to the
privilege.
other.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Privilege of subscribing to both.
if you subscribe to my Patreon, or if you become a patron, the first tier is you get a link to my OnlyFans, and then once you get to my OnlyFans, you have to subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Rushlow, we're running off the rails here.
It's fine.
That's the next topic.
I was gonna wait until he was done, man.
No, save me. Save me now.
All right, I'll save you. Okay, let's. We mentioned some things about the characters. Let's talk about the characters because that is I would say my favorite part of any show. Like Stefan enjoys music, I enjoy the characters. So let's talk about the main cast. So we have the what I would call as I move my notes off to the side here, the main group of 5. If we go by Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Will, and 11, aka Jane. And then, I mean, there's other groups that we'll get into here too, but let's talk about these kids first. So, just because of 11 herself, and first of all, Millie Bobby Brown, absolutely fantastic child actor, even as like she's grown up through the show. Really, I can't say that any of them are bad in any form. Like, absolutely. You have a point, Dom?
There is one kid who's the worst, though. It's the same problem as Captain Planet has.
Ooh.
The kid who has the heart ring is the
Okay.
the worst.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's Mike. Remember season 4? He's the heart of the party.
Okay.
He's got the heart ring. He's the lamest.
I kind of see what you mean. He didn't really do a whole lot in season 4 compared to the earlier seasons.
It's weird because he's the main character. It feels like he's the main character.
From the start, it kind of did, yeah.
I feel like they sidelined him.
A little bit in season 4, yeah.
There were so many other characters.
Well, and okay, it's not that the community didn't love Finn Wolfhard because he's gotten more work.
I love him
since this
too,
but I think he was kind of outshone by Dustin, and then
Dustin is great.
And then once
He's
Dustin and Steve get kind of paired up, you kind of like season 4 is they're kind of in the main squad, right? And like I feel like season 3 and 4 they leaned into that a lot more because that was, I mean, in all honesty, it was more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is about Mike the character, but
well, they kind of turned him into a little bit of a cock in season 3, like
a little bit.
Even like with his
they set
interactions
him in opposition
with
to Hopper.
Yeah,
and everybody's gonna side with Hopper.
Well, and it's not even that everyone's going to side with Hopper. He was also just like a smug little punk nose in some of those scenes. It didn't last for the entire season. Like it wasn't like irredeemable or anything. And he's a teenage boy. I was a snot-nosed little shit too.
Yeah, a little bit it is. Some of it makes sense at least. It is. I guess that's the thing, right? Because like I guess like he was being a cock, especially to 11, but. I'm going along with you here, man. But some of that is because he was a teenager, right? But because I mean, maybe it's just because we're all in our 30s now. But maybe it's one of those. Those young kids are so annoying in their personalities.
I said 3 inches.
Absolutely, teenagers are the bane of my existence. Like if I go out to a restaurant and there's just like high schoolers, I'm just like, I hate this.
I know what you mean. We may have come from there, but at the same time,
We're better than you now.
It's the endless cycle. It's the endless cycle, man. Like older people will always find young people annoying, and back in my day, blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah, just wait until you wake up one day with back pain for the rest of your life. You'll understand.
Oh, I'm already there. we can basically become Jay. Dustin's actor, by the way, was John Matarazzo the third, or Gaten Matarazzo.
Yeah, I knew him as Gotten.
Okay. Yeah.
And Dustin's great.
Yeah. Well, like it starts.
Him and Steve as a package.
Oh yeah. I'll get into the teenagers in a little bit too. But the other two, I really. So one thing I guess about Will, Noah Schnapp, it was super cool. Even though he wasn't there for the most part in season 1, he did kind of become his own character in season 2. But then, I mean, correct, like, feel free to like jump in, because I think like I kind of had a feeling that he sort of fell off like in the later 2 seasons, and maybe in season 4 he was a little bit more, because there was this developing implied sort of triangle between Mike and Eleven and Will, like both of their relationships with Mike.
I think it was a little bit more than implied.
Oh yeah, I mean
it was like heavily implied.
Yeah.
The scene where he starts crying in the car is basically confirmation.
Right, yeah.
Weird characters in my 80s nostalgia. My pearls, I must clutch them.
No.
Yeah, I've heard mixed feelings on the internet. Generally, people really like that storyline. Some people have accused it of being queer bait, without actually wanting to commit to it. But I mean, it
isn't
guess I can't really talk for the LGBT community or anything, but I would assume that growing up in the 80s, coming out is a much bigger deal than it is nowadays. So
I mean,
yeah.
I think it makes sense that
Imagine how it must feel to be in Will's position. Like, that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Like,
Being like actually in love with your best friend who will never love you back.
Ooh, yeah, that's gotta suck.
Like,
but as a character, they did kind of write him out of the story, and it does feel
compared
like
to the first couple seasons,
they mainly brought him back and then put him in this kind of.
He's with this particular group situation because we need another person.
Other than that, he didn't have
maybe
a lot to contribute. It was kind of.
Yeah.
It's like I wish there was a little bit more of him.
Yeah, he does.
Just be the cast has grown too much.
That's true. That's true.
That's the
problem.
That is true.
Give everybody so much time.
Yeah, he does still have.
Maybe they just need to start going at it like Game of Thrones to start offing.
Oh God. Oh,
I mean, I think there's a reason why, even though Eddie was so fucking awesome, why they killed him off is because I think you're right. I think the cast is growing too much. I mean, even think every new character that they've added, going back from Bob Newby, was great, right? Like Bob was great, and you knew he had to die because it set up Joyce and Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Robin, who was a standout in season 3 and continues to be so in season 4. And I guess to piggyback off of the LGBT Mike story, I mean they do her story I think really well.
Yeah,
and I love the conclusion between her and Steven when she finally comes out to him
in the bathroom.
It could have been a really dangerous moment.
Love that scene so much, dude.
And it just showed how close of friends they are going forward too. Like they're bros now. And like Steven handles it really well, and I thought that scene was really emotional and really powerful, and it was awesome.
Yeah. That scene was awesome. Like it really felt like they took the time to write it so that it played out at an appropriate and real, like it felt real. That's the thing. Like it felt absolutely real for what it was. And it's like the writers, the director, it seemed like they just didn't care how long it took. they wanted to do it right, and it was done
Robin's
right.
actor did a great job as
Yeah,
well.
Oh yeah,
that
well,
makes me
who is
feel
she?
bad for Will because they did it so well with Robin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They wrote in that storyline
Maya
her,
Hawke.
her struggle, right? So
Mhm.
well with Robin, but it wasn't. It's not that they didn't do it well with Will. It's just that was one of his only things that they had for him in season 4.
Mm.
It's that and the fact that he just wants to play D&D and no one wants to play D&D with him, but they're willing to play D&D with the Hellfire Club instead.
Oh, poor Will.
Yeah.
At the very
Um,
least, with Will, I do hope he comes back bigger in 5 because he does still have at least like some sort of relevance because he has like that like the sense
Yep.
the
true sight.
he
the
has
true
the
sight,
connection.
yeah. We're going by D&D. I forgot the D&D term.
True sight is a D&D term.
Yeah.
Speak the true.
with how season 4 ended, I find it hard to
he comes
believe
back.
for them to give Will, a similar backseat,
It would make a lot of sense for him to have a bigger role because like it would be kind of like the opposite of season 1 where he was like missing for the whole time.
It would
And
be
in
really
season
nice.
5 to have him
The
kind of
whole
more at the
yeah.
forefront would be a good way to close it out, I think.
Yeah.
I hope he comes back with just as shitty as a haircut to trigger everyone online. The internet hates his haircuts, and I kind of love how much they hate them.
That's
yes.
hilarious. In the early seasons, I thought Will was going to end up being like a dark elf due to his time and exposure to the Upside Down.
That he would be like corrupted or some shit.
That's
like
an interesting
I
reference.
thought he was going to fill, like going forward, the role that Vecna eventually comes into.
Interesting.
That is an interesting thought.
Sort of a dark apostle
didn't
of
have
the
to.
Upside Down.
The DM bringing
That'd
in the
be
master
cool.
references here. That's awesome, dude. But yeah,
I mean, they decided not to go with that direction.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think it could have been cool for his character, but at the same time, I like Vecna a lot. So
the only other like I guess what you'd call the child characters. I mean, they're not children anymore, but like Lucas. I was gonna say,
He's my favorite. I love Lucas.
I love what
more
they,
Lucas.
Yeah, I love what they did with him in season 4. Like, talk about him, Joe, because he's your favorite, right?
I mean, in season 4, it was an interesting struggle for him trying to kind of like branch out and find his own way. And
He wanted to be a
like,
popular kid.
He wanted to be everything,
Yeah.
right? He wanted a little bit of everything, and he kind of lost his way a little bit and came back around. But like throughout all the seasons, he's been one of the most level-headed. Like he's like the smartest one of the group for sure. Like
smarter than Dustin?
I think he's smarter. Like
What?
Dustin is smart. No, look, Dustin is really smart, but not as smart in terms of like not as much common sense. Not as much common sense in Dustin. You know?
I don't know. There was definitely that season early on where Lucas and Mike are being a couple of dumbasses, and Dustin has to set them straight.
Yeah, there's some, but yeah.
I gotta advocate
guess
for my
so.
boy Dustin here.
Yeah,
Smartest guy on the show.
I don't know.
Dusty Bun.
Dusty Buns.
Dusty Bun is
Dusty
the
Bun.
smartest.
I totally forgot about her too. Damn it.
Lucas is like the shadow leader, man. It's like Mike is the head of the group and stuff, but Lucas is really there holding things together. I like Lucas.
Yeah. I really do like the role that he filled in season 4.
Season 4, it was interesting how he got so like caught up in another loop outside of the group.
And then it converged in the end when they were doing the thing in the house with Max.
Oh man, I was so scared for him.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was not happy at that point.
I mean, you know me. Like when we were watching that, I was just no.
Exactly.
No, they're getting to the house. No, they're going upstairs. They're gonna interrupt the ritual. Man,
It was very funny to watch things with.
And then
I play it up a little for effect, but
his relationship with Max, and then Max is great too. Like I like his relationship with Max. Some of the struggles that they have are like kind of real, kind of silly, but like that's just life, right? Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
I really like the direction they took her after she was introduced in season 2, because in season 2 she felt more of like a I guess you'd say, like, rather than being main cast, she was there. It's like an also starring what's her name? I literally have the list here in front of me. I gotta scroll up and down. Sadie Sink.
Right.
Yeah, it was like also starring Sadie Sink as Max Mayfield. But then leading into season 3, she's part of the gang now. Like, she's definitely part. In fact, like, she's one of the main focuses of the story, not only in season 3 and, you know, the involvement of, or the deeper involvement of her brother Billy as one of the antagonists of sorts, but in season 4 with Vecna choosing her to torment, and the way season 4 ended with her getting just gravely injured. It's, oh man, that's one of the biggest things. Like, I'm really like hoping in season 4, like, Max has to pull through, man. I really don't want her to die. I love her.
I don't think she's there. She's not in her body. She's with Vecna.
Oh yeah.
She died. She died. She's like, because there's some throwaway lines or some small bits where like Vecna basically says, or even Doctor, what was his name, Brunner or
Papa?
Brenner.
Yeah, like basically said that he absorbs the people that he kills.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So like I'm pretty sure, and her death triggered the whole
like
cataclysm apocalypse thing. I'm pretty sure
she's inside of Frost.
She essentially her soul is captured. They have to, something that they do in season 5 is they're going to go find her soul because it's just not in her body. Right
now. They kind of proved that like her body's alive, but she's sort of for lack of a better term, like a vegetable, right?
Yeah.
And man, it hurts so much to see that. Like, I don't know, like for.
Well, I think Lucas is going to play a big part too.
Oh yeah,
it's like Elle and Lucas sort of tag teaming up, because the Upside Down and the real world are like mixing. Some weird shit's going to happen. It might be like a ghost style situation. Who knows? But like, I'm excited.
I'm hoping they don't confine Lucas to her hospital room.
God, no.
Next season. I hope that he's out there trying to rescue her, you know?
Yeah. Have her rescue her earlier on rather than like at the end, so that she can do stuff.
Or even just like have Lucas out there like fighting for her rather than just
I think
sitting by her bedside.
I think Elle or Will, one of those two, will kind of realize where she's gone at some point, and then that will kind of be the trigger for Lucas to get more involved.
It makes sense.
Elle already kind of knows. Like, she tried searching for Max.
Well, I think she knows that something's wrong. I don't know that she knows where her soul has gone.
Sure. Yeah. Just that they're gone. Yeah.
That's the one character that we haven't really talked about yet beyond Lucas. Like the actual one of the headliners, like Elle or Jane, like where to begin, honestly. Like, whew.
I don't know, but we're not going to get through all the rest.
Yeah, we should not talk about her that much. As much as I think she deserves a ton more time, we can't do it for that long. Oh boy. So many things that you could go off of with Elle, like turning from basically like someone captured, like imprisoned for her power, and just part of this program of gifted children that we that Dr. Brenner or Papa was trying to replicate, and to see her go from just this quiet, sheltered, I guess you'd call, a little girl to a very like courageous and just open, person in the very end. It's incredible.
Then there was a bit more of a breakdown too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then like a resurgence. And that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
That kind of follows the hero's journey, right, Dom? Like a little bit, like failure and then rebirth sort of thing. Like that's part of the cycle of the hero's journey and stuff.
Well, in traditional hero's journey, the hero doesn't fail, but they do refuse the call to adventure.
Hmm.
It's more like a modern take on
Isn't
it.
it? No, isn't it like further along though? Isn't there like a
Oh,
point of failure and then a
sure.
rebirth, a resurgence, and then
Yeah.
like, and so we're kind of in that arc after the
Yeah.
resurgence, and then the
Yeah.
finality is coming. And then, I mean, Elle's character just is such a focal point of so many mysteries and secondary plot points, and like everything kind of flows through her because like there's the whole mystery of how the Upside Down was created, which we kind of think we know a little bit more about now, but it also seems like it was always there. And then is it only Hawkins that has that weird rot style thing, and is a perfect reflection of the normal world, because the rest of the Upside Down that we saw didn't really look like that. So there's still so much mystery that at with her as the focal point. So like, yeah, just very interesting character, the way they've written her.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if she has to die at the end.
Oh man, don't say that. Why do you have to say that?
I don't want it to happen, but
Yeah,
I
I
kind of
know,
wonder
but
if she has to.
You just had to say it.
Or does she have to die, or does she go on her Vecna journey?
Oh man.
Maybe.
Upside down.
Maybe
She takes
you know?
Vecna with her or
She
something.
walks off into the sunset.
I don't know.
She
Like,
might have to go undo some of the damage she did
Yeah.
out there. Maybe.
briefly,
Maybe that's-
like,
Yeah.
what do we with Dr. Brenner, like the way he went out in season 4 with Elle, like, you know, it was the scene out. What was it, like the third to last episode before the 2.5 hour one? I don't
think
know.
It was the one right before the finale.
Was it? I think it was the second to last.
Was
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you guys think about? I'm kind of like skipping to Brenner a little because, you know, very strong correlation to Elle, but like, the way Elle acted in that episode before, like as Brenner was like they basically like it was the final straw. Like she didn't trust him for any reason whatsoever anymore. He tried to like stab her with a needle, right? She escaped. U.S. military shows up. I think that was around the same time that the guys showed up in Argyle's van too, if I remember correctly. And then Dr. Brenner came out too. At first, like it felt like he, yeah. At first, it felt like he was still, you know, being, you know, the Dr. Brenner we knew, the antagonist, right? But in the very end, the very, very last action that he did was freed her from the whole, like, the neck brace thing with the button press, or what was it? Yeah, so it's, I don't know.
He put her in.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, I don't know how much credit I'm willing to give this guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if
no.
he went through any great transformation by the
Yeah,
end.
no.
I think it's a perfect microcosm too that when he was basically begging Elle for forgiveness, she was just said bye and basically said fuck you and left off.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that was the correct response.
Yeah.
I think the only reason he let her go was because he knew he was going to die and had no other option. I think if he was going to live, he wouldn't have done that in a million years.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, like, it seemed a little weird in the moment, but, like, yeah, I think you're right, because in the end, he had his manipulative motivations. But I guess in every moment, it seemed like he made the decision more about what he wanted to do, regardless of however he felt about Elle. So in the very final moment, he's like, well, I'm going to die anyway, kind of thing, right?
I kind of, because we've all watched this show, Arcane, I felt like there were a few parallels between him and Silco, where he's kind of like an unredeemed Silco.
Go watch Arcane, please. Do it.
Silco
talking.
kind of has a rough redemption at the end. I wouldn't say he gets fully redeemed at all. But
oh yeah, let the
where he chooses like family over.
Let us be careful with spoilers of Arcane though.
Sure.
For sure.
But yeah, I feel like Brenner never had that moment where he chose Elle over himself and his own needs.
He was certainly himself up to the last moment.
I honestly was so surprised they even brought him back.
Mm.
But to be honest, it
Yeah,
did
they
feel
did.
like a little bit that he was like a necessary evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
They brought him back so Elle could tell him no.
Yeah.
It was satisfying
but
itself
they
too.
also brought him back so that he could push her, right?
Get her powers back. I mean, that's something, but
Like,
for
'Cause
whatever reason he
the other
wanted.
guy was not willing to go to the lengths necessary, so he was
Yeah.
like the necessary evil.
The
to
Department of
create
Energy
this-
guy, Sam, was it? Was that his name?
Don't remember what his
Dr.
name.
Owens?
The Department of
Dr.
Energy guy.
Owens,
Yeah. Dr. Owens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brenner was definitely a much more interesting character this time around. We got to see a little bit more of him.
Mhm.
Because before, in earlier seasons, he just felt like pretty one-dimensional, very manipulative and evil, and well, he still was that. It felt like there were a couple more layers to him this time around.
Well, I think you guys know what I'm going to say because I've said it a couple times now. I'm going throwback to our last episode of Kenobi. How I mentioned I would have loved a couple flashback episodes. Season 4 did that, not just with Brenner, but also with Elle, and that completely flushed out their characters, right?
Yep.
I mentioned it, that I wanted something like that in Kenobi. I mentioned it on my channel when we were talking about Golden Kamui Season 2. I threw that back. It's another example of something that was done well that was able to flush out the character in a way that made us understand more of their motivations and gave us a reason to care. Because none of us like Dr. Brenner, but hating him is another form of care.
Right.
Like
yeah.
it's
Not
So-
indifferent to the guy. That's true.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I guess if we were to move on from Dr. Brenner, I feel like the natural thing to talk about, and I'm saving the best for last here because I know all the characters that we love, and we're gonna gush about them. Let's talk about some antagonists because I think a lot of them were a lot more interesting than Dr. Brenner 2, at least in their contained seasons too. Other than Dr. Brenner, the whole Hawkins lab, really, in season 1. I thought it was cool that antagonists took many different forms, even outside of the Upside Down. One example would be the basketball team that Lucas hung out with, and what they did leading into the end of season 4. You could say Billy himself, kind of a side character in season 2, sort of an antagonist in effect there. Season 3, yeah, he was entirely something else. Stefan.
About Billy, I just want to say, I'm not gay. Billy was fucking hot.
My God.
He worked that mullet.
Dude.
And if I was Mrs. Wheeler, I wouldn't have been able to contain myself either.
You'd be sitting there next to the pool along with those moms.
Oh, yeah.
Eye goggling at Billy
Again,
being a lifeguard.
I am not gay. But Billy's making me question.
Hang around him enough and you just might
I get he's an asshole. I understand. I'm not talking about personality. I'm just like, man, he fine.
Oh my God.
I quite liked Billy as an antagonist too.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I liked him a lot more than the basketball team, to be honest. I think they were kind of
He's more
trying to
central
recreate. They were kind of trying to recreate Billy with the main basketball guy a little bit, right?
He was just
maybe a little
such a meme.
The main guy was like a religious sort of.
Yeah, and they tied that into the whole D&D plot,
Right.
but he wasn't as good as Billy was for sure.
Billy was intimidating.
They also kind of brought Billy back with the mullet on Eddie.
Oh yeah.
Eddie was pretty hot too, but Billy was like a whole.
But Billy was
level.
Billy.
Yeah, from that first scene where he steps out of his car to rock you like a hurricane. I'm just like, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
You can rock me like a hurricane.
Oh my god.
Run me over, Daddy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He would actually do that, and he would probably kill you.
It would hurt. It would absolutely hurt.
Oh my god. But it was super cool, like, not only like how he was an antagonist in season 2 as more of a side character, like being Max's, intimidating and just projecting their dad onto Max, kind of brother, but turning into what he became in season 3, kind of the main sort of blade,
Had more context for Billy,
Yeah. I really liked the scene when all the kids, along with 11, were trying to force the mind flayer out of him by trapping him in that sauna room, and he broke out and was trying to break out, and he eventually did. Like, that was intense. They even brought that back for season 4 for a reference with Vecna and Max.
Well, and not that any of his flashbacks excused any of his behaviors, because he was a piece of shit, right? Like, he was openly racist towards Lucas. He was openly abusive towards Max.
It was racist. That's right.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Overtly racist, which is why I'm memeing when I'm calling him hot, because he was a piece of shit. But what I do like is, even after his death in season 3, yeah, he was not around in season 4, but he's still a very big integral part of Max's character development.
Yeah.
That she has a lot of guilt towards just their complicated relationship. Wanting him to die, feeling guilty about wanting him to die, feeling like she needed to do more to help him, blah, 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 blah. But it really does come full circle when she kind of gets into the acceptance mode towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then aside from Billy, too, like, what else do I have written here? I mean, honestly, like, I wanted to save a part for just the upside down creatures in general. I mean, first of all, they're all named after D&D, which is awesome. The Demogorgon, is... everything, really. All the demo creatures. Like, not only just the Demogorgon, but, like, the demo dogs, the demo bats. Having, like, the mouth without eyes that opens up 4 ways, rows and rows of teeth from their face. Just...
It felt very Last of Us.
Oh yeah, like So I haven't played, but like
the clickers.
Yeah, they're like the fungal zombies that like the mind control fungus like takes over their face and makes it like body horror stuff. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, the Demogorgon reminded me of the clickers basically from the beginning.
Very similar voice acting.
Yeah. But then, like, obviously the Mind Flayer. I also love how each season, like, the monster gets a little bit more sinister, because, like, the Demogorgon very much just felt like an animal, right? Like a predator. Whereas the Mind Flayer seemed to have a little bit more of a consciousness and something that it was building. And then Vecna was Vecna was, I think, the most terrifying, just because he seemed to enjoy what he was doing. He seemed much more sinister, and like he was willing to plan shit out.
Every arm,
exactly.
Every leg, eyes.
Also, just how they died was a lot more gruesome. But
just,
the Mind Flayer they turned to goo, which was pretty gross. But
all of them assimilating into one thing.
It was also a little bit less like forward in the frame, it was kind of almost off to the side,
and it was usually a lot darker. And like I said, like the Mind Flayer, you could definitely feel like there was a little bit of a consciousness to it, but it wasn't. It wasn't like
it was.
It was like an existential horror, right? More than it was like a.
It almost felt like the Mind Flayer was like an alien from a sci-fi movie that would like communicate through like someone else, whereas Vecna was like a serial killer.
Yeah, Vecna's a very human horror.
Yeah,
like Mind Flayer is more like eldritch horror.
Like eldritch. Yes.
Was so like the Mind Flayer. Now I might just be confused, but like the Mind Flayer is its own thing, different from that entity that Vecna took over and started controlling, or is that the same
they're
thing?
One of the,
Okay.
it seems like they're one and the same thing, and it's
That's
also
what I thought.
not entirely clear. It seems like the Mind Flayer existed in the Upside Down before Vecna, and Vecna shaped it into because like
Into a
Vecna
thing.
had because Vecna had like that love of spiders and Black Widows,
Right?
So
yeah,
it's like he shaped the Mind Flayers
into like a spider.
Into a spider-like shape.
Yeah,
and like
he
gave
wanted
it
to be a
purpose.
predator, and he turned it into a predator.
Yeah,
Because what Will felt when he was connected to it was like a deep hatred of everything, like of all humans, right? It's coming from all of us, sort of thing.
I didn't make that connection. Like, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think part of that too is like how one just walks past a demogorgon when he's in the Upside Down before it's like all corrupted, before he shapes the Mind Flayer. It might still, have had all the teeth and could have eaten him, and who knows what the whole ecology of is. But it didn't seem to be overtly hostile to him immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas after he shaped the Mind Flayer, right? Every time we see a demogorgon, it's hunting, and they even talk about it in the Russian prison. It's looking for prey.
Yeah.
He turned it into a predator. Right?
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
I'm hoping season 5 explains that a little bit more even.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it will, because season 4 definitely did its best to wrap up a lot of these stories that have been around since season 1, but there's still some very
threads
unanswered questions. Like even something like, how did he shape? Like, why did the Mind Flayer listen to him? Like, why? What was the motivation behind that? Why? How could he control it? I don't even know if that will be answered, but I hope it is.
If it's supposedly like a sentient thing, just like one, right? Like you'd think they made some sort of pact or something, or who knows, right? Yeah.
Be interesting.
It'd be more like a force that he gave a kind of mind.
It might be, but it was already a hive mind, I think, of some sort.
Of sorts.
Maybe just like less sentient.
Yeah.
Like he may have given it sentience or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting ideas. I mean, when is? Do any of you know when season 5 they said is coming out, or they haven't said?
Far too long. Who knows?
Another 2 to 3 years. Probably.
All right. Well, anyway, let's get on to some of the characters that I know we want to gush about. Like, we talked about Max. I think we talked about Robin already. We love them both. Some of the ones that weren't around in season 1 but got introduced later on, and I think this is another reason why I really like the show. If I can put a side note here, even though I think a valid criticism is having so many characters, right? Having them just seamlessly fit in their own ways so that things just keep going even when they're there. I mean, granted, it does kind of push aside characters like Will, like we said before, but for example, Lucas's sister Erica. I think we all love Erica. If I can speak for us all, she's fucking hilarious.
Endangerment.
Well, I love the interaction between her and Dustin. It was like, you're a nerd. You like My Little Pony. They have dragons and wizards. You're a nerd. And she's just like, oh fuck, I am a nerd.
Oh my god, I love her so much. I'm so glad that she's become basically another main part of the main cast more than the side character she kind of was in season 2. It's just it's so fun
between them right now.
So I know we moved on. We're talking about minor side characters. We forgot about Joyce.
Joyce? Oh shit! Yeah,
we haven't even really talked about Hopper.
I kind of skipped over some of the. I was gonna go. I was gonna go from kids to teens to adults, but
okay.
But yeah,
gotten to the teens properly.
we gotta move a little too here.
How long we've been talking about just the younger
a long time. Yeah, so here,
we're kind of coming up on time, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, let's talk about the. I think we've said our stuff about Erica, unless you guys have anything. But we all love her. She's just hilarious and glad she's here. She's definitely like she'll have I think she'll have like a part to play like significantly. Maybe not like on the levels of like, you know, the main 5 kids or something, but she's definitely like part of the team now for sure. Speaking of the main cast, like Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve, and then I'll get to Joyce and Jim in a second.
Okay.
It's really cool to me how they, well, in one way, I think you could argue maybe there's like a little repetition with how they split up people and how they're grouped and whatever, and the various adventures they go off on in different places and ways. But Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve all kind of have, and to an extent Robin, but more her with Steve that we talked about, right? They kind of had this bond that they formed from the start, like all the way back when Nancy and Jonathan found that entrance to the Upside Down just in a tree, and you know, Nancy was concerned like where Barb was, and then Steve in that season was just an asshole, but look how far our boy has come.
Oh, like, so he was an asshole, but there was also the context of Jonathan being a legitimate creep. But
yeah,
funny enough, apparently, I read an article. We might have to go back and confirm this, but apparently they edited out the scene where Jonathan took a picture of Nancy in her underwear through the window.
Really?
Which I think is stupid, because, like, yeah, it's creepy, and yeah, it paints Jonathan in a bad light, but it's part of his character growth, and I think it was an important moment for him.
Wait, if they cut that out, then
why even destroy his
because
camera?
he was on the premises with the camera,
taking pictures of the party,
which is still creepy.
What they were doing,
it's still creepy, but like, yeah,
they're making their own plot holes. Why would they do that?
I don't.
Oh,
I don't. I think correction from fan backlash, but I think that's a big reason why people don't like Jonathan, and people even in season 4 are wanting Steve and Nancy to get back together and leave Jonathan in the wayside. And I think there are plenty of reasons, and I think there are people who might want that regardless.
It's kind of going that way too, right?
I mean,
It is kind of going.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seems like it. But I think Jonathan still gets a lot of hate for that scene, and I think maybe that's why they decided to cut it out. I don't know. I mean, I get it. I like I said, I'm even hesitant to call Steve a complete dickhead. He is for allowing his friends to paint the Nancy Wheeler as a slut or whatever the fuck they painted. Like that is no justification. But for him, even like something is destroying Jonathan's camera, like, I think seeing a picture of your girlfriend taking off her clothes by some creep in the woods, like,
makes sense, like why he would be
kind of justified.
Yeah, it makes sense why he would be so, you know, overreactionary, but you know, it makes sense why, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
his girl.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just his girl. It's just
somebody
like,
who cares about who is
it's
being
just
exploited.
Yeah.
And just Jonathan was being a stalker weirdo creep. And yeah, it was like, it was an overall win because he was able to take the picture of Barb and the Demogorgon, and that's like kind of led
them into their own
the investigation and all that. But I mean, I think people maybe either focused on it too much and got the fucking scene pulled, or didn't focus on it enough. I don't think there was really that many people who were in between.
At the very least, Jonathan did move on to become like, he played some incredible parts in the seasons going forward.
But I love
yeah.
Jonathan. I think he's a really good character, and I really love, even they became fewer and further between, but even his interactions with Will I thought were really strong. And I'm glad that they had that scene in season 4. To bring that together.
That scene was really sweet too.
I feel like they're bringing him back in, connected to Will.
Yeah.
When previously he was mostly connected to
Nancy.
Yeah. And then they're kind of doing the Nancy and Steve thing, like we said. But other than Jonathan and Steve, I mean, we love Steve. I mean, Nancy's kind of come a long way too. I mean,
That's true.
She seemed like. What do you think, Joe? Because like I guess like she's definitely become less of a how would I put it? Like
I mean, she was kind of almost
like a
an
popular
antagonist.
girl, or
She was
even
almost like an antagonist to Mike in season 1.
yeah,
you know?
that's true. Like I guess
Not quite to the same degree
not
as
like
some of
Billy
the
to
other ones,
Max, but like
but like
yeah,
sibling rivalries and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like they didn't seem to get along very well, but now after everything happened, it
They
helped
share
them grow closer together, and then she just knit in well with the rest of the group too. So
siblinghood under the flag of carnage and death, courtesy of the Upside Down.
Is he
Yeah.
more of a main character than Mike now?
Ooh, that is a good
Uh,
question. That is an
I mean,
interesting question.
she definitely was in season 4. It felt like I think we got more
It
screen
did
time
feel
with
that way,
her.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think season 5 is gonna bring us back to more of the original 4 or 5, probably.
Now they're in the same place.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. It's
But
especially because they're all in the same place now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the character growth of like basically every character throughout the seasons. Like they've done a really good job.
The writing, man,
Um,
the writing. It's so
they've-
good. Let's talk about Joyce and Jim, because like oh man, there's so much to get through with them too. Jesus.
I mean, I would argue that Joyce carried season 1.
Oh,
yeah.
with her
Like
perceived
Winona
insanity.
Ryder, I mean, like Winona Ryder as an actor, I think carried season 1.
Seriously, like her perceived insanity. But it's like like usually when you'd see a character like that, it's like holy crap, they're insane. But like we know she's not insane because we saw everything else happen.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the words because I mean, I've always liked Winona Ryder, and I know she had that like kleptomania thing that happened all those years ago. I don't remember exactly how long, and she kind of fell off a little bit, and got a whole bunch of therapy, and kind of came back, and is now back in a big way because of Stranger Things. And I think that's really cool, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like they took the personal narrative of her life of people thinking that
Yeah.
she was a little crazy.
Yeah,
and
dude.
It enhances the character that it's
Mm.
playing it.
And
I mean, there
then-
might be there might be some of that. Like she knows how to act unhinged because she, before seeking help, kind of was there in that headspace.
Mhm. And then I really love it's David Harbour who's Jim Hopper, right?
Yeah.
I really love his like Joe said, like every character in this show has an incredible arc. Like in like at first when I first met Jim Hopper, it's like chief of police kind of guy. Really seemed like being like the small town kind of police chief. It really felt like it's not that he didn't take his job seriously, but that it really kind of came off at first like he would be the type of character that's like you're wow, why am I losing
Sort of thing.
Joyce? Joyce, you're a little off your rocker here. Are you sure like you're getting enough sleep kind of thing? But then like as like things progress, he starts believing her more and more, and now he's full on part of it, like involved with like Hawkins and
Right.
just holy shit. And not to mention everything that happened after season 3 when we thought he was dead, he ends up in a Russian concentration camp. Like, holy fuck. I did not expect, like, even coming in, like, after you guys, I did not expect that turn. Like, holy hell. And then everything that happened there just, oh my god.
I
Apparently,
don't want
Harbour
to.
wanted a change for his character after season 3. He didn't exactly helm where Hopper went, but he approached the writers and was like, Hopper needs to evolve from here.
Yeah. That makes
And that's
sense,
when they moved
too.
to Russia.
Because
I don't want to move on from Hopper before we discuss his storyline in season 1 with his daughter. And his daughter passing.
Yeah.
And getting a divorce, because I think that was a really big reason why he started to believe Joyce and wanted to believe Joyce, because he knew what it was like to lose a a child, and Joyce was right there, like losing her shit, and he could very much empathize with that. I think that was kind of what set him on that journey, and I thought that was really well done.
Love that.
And
Sure.
the the flashback when he is like enjoying his time with his daughter, and then you see her in the hospital bed, that kind of broke me.
Oh, we learn more about that over time too. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like even through all season 2, like he and 11 living together, eating Eggos.
Yeah, I was really
morning.
happy for him when 11 kind
That
of
was
came into
awesome.
play.
And like she's legally his daughter now.
Yeah, and then it also makes sense why he was so overly protective of her with Mike. I mean, it literally shapes his character going
3
forward.
inches.
Yeah.
3 inches. Oh man. Just
Yeah,
I don't know,
that little
man.
detail where she doesn't fully shut the door in season 4.
Mhm.
And then he
Seriously.
She
steps
kicked it
back
open.
in. Oh man, that was pretty cool.
Man. And man, I we could go on about Joyce, Hopper, just all these characters that are written so well and acted so well. We have so much more to talk about, dude. This fucking show, I swear to God. Yeah, let's talk about some of the super fun characters that we loved. Like we're gonna gush about him here. How about Murray? Who loves Murray in this call? Like
Murray's incredible. Murray
You're just saying that because you look like
I was gonna say,
Murray
he looks like
is
Murray.
the best character on the whole show.
Tom, I didn't know you were in Stranger Things. Holy shit! Oh, who is this actor? I need to find him. Oh my god. Brett Gelman, Murray Bowman.
That's another
dude.
character that almost certainly wasn't slated to be as influential as he turned out to be.
He was a minor character at first when they just went off to find him, and he seemed like a very heavy, like conspiracy theorist guy with the camera and shit. But like, oh my god, he turned into such.
He's basically Alex Jones without a platform.
Oh, he turned into such a lovable character in
Yeah.
4.
He was like they used him as a catalyst because he had no filter for a while, and then like
Children. Just bang it out. We're tired of your shit.
Oh my god.
Murray's a mood.
All the way to Katinka!
Yeah.
Oh my god. Stefan, please talk about Argyle.
You just gotta try before you deny, bro. It's just a major fact of life, man. Like, you just gotta go with it.
I am looking forward to more Argyle. He better be he was a guest starring role in season 4 when he was introduced in 4, but like have him be a main character in 5, please.
Yeah,
I struggle to see where he's gonna fit in well in 5.
But still,
and I get there are some people who just don't like stoners, so like whatever. But like you can't deny that Argyle was just like he's just like down for anything. He just wants to have like a good time and just like you want me to pick you up and drive you from California to Hawkins? Yeah, man, let's do it. Let's just go. Like he's just a bro, you know. Like he's just.
They needed him to be there, or else how would they have gotten?
Yeah,
I personally cannot wait to see Jonathan explain Argyle to Nancy.
Oh my god!
Like this other side to himself, manifested by Argyle, that is now in front of Nancy being shown.
That will be interesting.
I also just appreciate that there is a pineapple pizza supporter on a major TV show. Now, again,
my god!
To clarify, I do not like pineapple on every pizza. There are specific pizzas that pineapple go well on. Dom. But
even I can agree with that.
It has its place.
But
it has
again,
its place.
Try before you deny. That's just going forward.
The Argyle creed.
That is good. That is going forward. The pineapple on pizza meme. The response to that is try before you deny, and end of conversation.
It was all because of him too. Like he works at like that pizza place.
Yeah.
Because of him, that 11 was able to astral project herself to the Upside Down and fight Vecna too.
I mean,
like
very silly set piece, but it kind of
it worked. It worked.
Her like getting ready to do that, and he's just like making a pizza.
I
I love the scenes.
The slap cuts.
The slap cuts between the serious things of setting up the tank and him just making a fucking pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
And then giving it to
fuel,
Mike
man.
and 11.
Yeah.
Try
Fuel.
before you deny. Oh my god. man.
Argyle was great. I loved him. I thought he was
Oh my
like,
god.
every friend group would be so lucky to have an Argyle in it, because he would just bring up the energy and make everyone just feel better about themselves.
For sure, man. I love him. There were a few side characters along the way that we don't have to talk about that much, but I suppose I would say it's hard to understate the importance, I guess, in the parts that they played in their certain moments, except for maybe one. And I think you might know the one as I approach this here. One is Bob Newby in season 2. You mentioned that he was the catalyst for Joyce and Jim. I was really, really sad to see him die because he was really smart and eccentric, and I genuinely enjoyed him while he was around. I hated.
I like
Sean
Jim.
Astin.
Sean Astin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
feel bad for Will that Bob more so than Joyce. I feel bad for Will that Bob's not there.
Yeah,
you know,
he was a really good stepdad. You know, I thought so. I'll get to the one that you have highlighted, Stefan. I see you over there.
We don't even need to talk about that one.
We kind of don't. Like, I guess everybody kind of agrees that one episode in season 2 where 11 kind of finds 8, and nothing against, like, I think Kali as a character is cool, like 8, and I have no problem with their actress. It's just the episode as a whole was just. Cool. I thought her powers were cool, but
I think there's a reason why after that episode she was just completely written out of the story
exactly.
and never talked about
like
it.
The episode didn't serve any purpose at all. Like that's
the
one gripe.
Jarring kind of place for that season to go.
It really
Did they
was.
bring her back in the flashback with Elle in season?
They might have.
Maybe?
She might have been like in the room with her for like half of a frame,
no
and
speaking lines
that's
though, or
about it.
yeah, just.
But it also
should have been in there more.
Kind of, not that it breaks continuity or anything, but it does kind of feel like it's hard to place when she would have escaped, because they kind of go into the whole breakout thing again with 1, right? So it does feel a little weird that it's even there now because of where they went with season 4.
Yeah.
You know, like
it almost seems like it was retconned, like, not entirely, but like it kind of it was kind of going in that direction of sorts. Yeah,
I think the most scathing review that I can have of that episode is you can literally skip the episode, and the only thing you'll be confused about is why 11 is wearing the things that she's wearing.
She has like
plays nothing into her character or into the story.
It has
emo
look
nothing to do with anything.
With the jacket and the MCU Loki like slicked back hair and shit. Like, oh my god.
Like you can literally skip the episode and you don't miss out on a single thing. It's literally Naruto filler.
We're gonna have to talk about Naruto eventually, aren't we?
New look. It's like in an anime when they redesigned the character. They had to explain.
Oh no. It's DMC. The friggin' DMC remake. Oh my god. I'm not gonna talk about that. Anyway. I thought the Russians were kind of fun. More Yuri than Ivan, but
I loved Ivan.
Ivan was the co-prisoner alongside Jim. Yuri was the guard, and Yuri was the more jokesy kind of Russian that fooled.
The Russian that I think you're missing too from season 3. Right?
Who am I missing?
Terminator.
The Terminator guy. Yeah.
Russian.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
No, that and wait, what?
Oh,
and
yeah,
the other
and
one.
the other
Alexei.
Alexei. Oh, okay.
How do you forget about Alexei?
Poor Alexei.
I totally missed him. Damn it.
His and Murray's like relationship.
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I did forget about him. Shit.
Well, and then that moment with Hopper where like he's all smug, like he had it figured out, and it looks like he was wrong, and then he was right at the last second. He's
Oh
like,
my God.
"See, I knew what I was
that
doing
scene
all
was
the time."
amazing.
Yeah,
They thought he like
that was
freaking
good.
drove away, and then
But Hopper had his number, man.
oh yeah. The whole like Russian angle as antagonists even was super cool. Like what they did with season 4. It
It's just
added
very
like
80s.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
it is
sure.
very 80s.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder. It still feels like it needs a conclusion.
I think it does.
I mean, they kind of cleaned up basically all of the demo dogs and demogorgons that the Russians had captured. They killed them all and everything. So like you could cut it off, but it also feels like they still have all the research and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
That facility
That's
or
why
the
they had to go to Russia was to like sort of explain why
If they
everything
don't,
is Hawkins centric and like
yeah, if they don't revisit it, I won't hate it, but it does feel like it deserves just a one more push.
It definitely seemed like that was one of the other controversial aspects of season 4 was people just didn't really like the whole Russia storyline. I didn't hate it.
yeah, I didn't mind it at all.
I thought it was a little bit,
Maybe a little too like how would you say like nothing's really happening, you know?
yeah, a little bit.
Maybe
But
a little bit.
I didn't hate the setup.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. Like seeing what Jim and meeting the new characters there, like Ivan and Yuri eventually, like I thought it was I thought it added like at least another kind of element in the show that added to the whole 80s vibe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even at just that. Now,
We're back, and it did a tie into the whole Vecna situation.
yeah,
With
right.
With the flamethrower.
Yeah, they were able to
Sure,
figure it
it's a
out.
little Deus Ex Machina stuff, but like it at the very least, it does tie them back in,
Gauss flamethrower.
and it kind of confirms the whole hive mind stuff. So like, yeah.
Now, no introduction necessary.
Your favorite.
Eddie fucking Munson. We mentioned him a couple times. You
should put the meme up again at that
oh my fucking god, yeah. Fucking plankton. Eddie fucking Munson. Where to start? He is incredible. I absolutely love everything about him. I don't think he has a single flaw in his body. Maybe I think he's hot, just like Stefan thinks Billy is hot.
Well,
Russell's in love with the shape of Eddie Munson.
Eddie Munson was literally who I wanted to be in middle school.
Man.
I was like a budding metalhead, played guitar at the time, and I was like, "This is who I want to be." And then I started playing sports, kind of unfortunately, because I would have been a rocker, man.
He was a DM for the Hellfire Society. That's what it was
Hellfire
called.
Club.
Hellfire Club. And kind of a drug dealer of sorts. He was of sorts.
Not even of sorts.
Straight up.
Yeah. And then he got framed for the death of Chrissy. And
before we go into Chrissy's death,
but
let's just mention the chemistry that those two characters had.
Yeah,
like, there was a moment before Chrissy died where like, are they going to get together? Like they kind of
liked each other, like even Chrissy, right?
Yeah.
It's just it was super interesting because it really kind of gave Eddie this feeling, like it made him feel real as a character, like not only like as a like a D&D nerd, as a drug dealer, as otherwise
dad number 2 in the gay relationship with Steve to Dustin.
Yeah. but also
the second true love triangle.
The second dad number 2.
Dad number 2. But also as like a genuine like human being, like not only in like the potential relationship to Chrissy, but also like his reactions when Vecna started to like fuck with Chrissy and like killing her, but also like
Chrissy, I don't like this,
Chrissy. But then everything after too, like he acted as you would think anyone else in that situation would. Like he knew he was probably going to get blamed for her death. He went on the run and into hiding. Got help from his fellow friends in the Hellfire Club.
Literally just seen some satanic shit.
Yeah, exactly. And like eventually even kind of getting like quote unquote inducted into this hellfire club of kids that fight against the Upside Down, and going on to basically have the most incredible scene in the entire show. The Master of Puppets scene. Like, holy
maybe even
fuck.
two, because like his last stand was also quite
yeah, like all the like after he was done playing, like he ran and it was after like Dustin and him were in the trailer, right? And he decided to stay behind. Like
he was. I remember he definitely was like, "Don't worry, we're not heroes," but he had the most heroic death on the show.
Like holy shit, right? Like if not for him, the three that went into the house where Vecna's body was, it wouldn't have been possible. Like nothing would have been possible without his sacrifice. Like to see it happen, just like from where he started to where he ended, and then even the final scene where Dustin like found his dad in the refugee, like in the school, or uncle, right? Sorry, uncle. And that conversation that he had with him, that he died a hero, despite everything else that everybody thought about him. Just, oh my god, dude, I fucking love this character. Not only because of like the metal thing, but just holy shit, just everything that happened. And I'm really, really sad that he's dead. But like, oh man,
he told us that Mike was the heart, but definitely Eddie was kind of the heart of this.
Yeah,
season.
I remember even saying like before the finale when we were on the couch, I'm like, I hope Eddie's around for season 5, man. I really like Eddie, and it's like, nope. Yeah, at least he went out like at least that Metallica scene, like you literally could have taken a screenshot of it and put it on a metal album.
Oh,
and
dude,
it would have worked.
There's
like,
gifs everywhere too of him playing the guitar. Like holy shit, it's.
I mean, he certainly burned bright though as a character, right?
Yeah,
I fucking love him so much, and I'm gonna miss him. He'll live on in like everyone's minds rent free for years to come in this fucking show. Oh my god.
Well, again,
flashback reappearance.
I don't think it's an accident that Dustin is the one who keeps on getting these connections with the older teens, right? Like Steve and now Eddie. I think there's just something about Dustin that brings the group together, which is why I kind of agree with you, Joe. I don't like whatever the scene. It makes sense that Will would tell Mike that he's the heart because he loves him, and like it makes sense from like that kind of standpoint. But he's not. Like it's absolutely Dustin.
Yeah, I watched Dustin become like the new Eddie of sorts. Maybe not from the drug dealer angle, but like the heart angle. You know.
Yeah.
Like he's already involved with Hellfire and D&D. He absolutely fucking rocked alongside him in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Even like found him dead, like knows the whole story, right?
I hope he starts wearing like Iron Maiden or Megadeth shirts.
Oh my god.
We already know that Dustin likes to sing.
They're getting to that age too, man.
Yeah. We do know that Dustin likes to sing, and
how's his girlfriend gonna take that? That's not gonna go down well.
Who knows the lyrics to Never Ending Story?
Oh no.
She's gonna be his little rock and roll queen.
Never Ending Story.
I have another.
Or her dad is not gonna like that.
I have another.
Doesn't like him.
Go for
another
it.
meme you need to put up for during this segment because I think it's kind of perfect.
Oh no. Oh, do I have to put that one post editing? Oh man. I mean it's great, but it makes me sad too. Oh. But still, I mean, singing the Never Ending Story shit. Yeah, more 80s bombs, dude. Like man. But yeah. That's about it for all the characters. I think. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys. Did I forget someone, Joe? Or
no, he was
just. We might be pretty much ending the.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm kind of
yeah. I do want to. We did just because we've been gushing about it and it's been all positive. There are some minor negatives that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
I think we've already mentioned a couple going back, but specifically, I think the downside of it being so heavily inspired by the 80s is the scenes, especially in season 4 with the basketball team and then the bullying in California. It's kind of eye-rolly. Like, it's not enough to really, like, warrant the show being like brought down a peg or anything, but like I don't know what it is about 80s bullying, but it's just like it's so over the top and stupid and not real. Like I was bullied. I was absolutely bullied, but like there's a difference between being bullied and then the kind of shit that happens in the show. It's just a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it felt
turned up to 11 for entertainment.
Yeah, it felt like the kind of stuff that like the stereotypical stuff and
seasons, right? That felt way less stereotypical.
Yeah, that felt more real. Like
like the middle school bullies that like L makes P like and then saves Mike from jumping off. Like even that felt more realistic. It was still a little bit over the top because
a little over the top, but
like again, most of the bullying in this show warrants cops getting involved, and most bullying is a little bit more subtle than that.
I don't. Yeah, but bullies aren't that.
That kid pulled a knife on Mike.
Oh my god!
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess that is true.
Yeah, not that sort of stuff doesn't exist, but it's like bullies typically, I feel, are a little more intelligent than to go to those extents. So like, you know, forcefully, right? Like to have it involve the cops, right?
Billy was a bully. Billy was a bully, and his was not. I mean, other than the whole driving like 80 miles down a 40, it's probably like this freak out Max.
Yeah, it was emotional bullying, which is how bullies usually do. Like, sure, you'll occasionally get beaten up at school or whatever in like elementary school, but once you're like, that doesn't really happen in high school. Like it just like, there are definitely outliers and there are definitely horrific bullying stories, but it's just like in every 80s movie or show has to have like the worst bullying on the planet. And every bully I've ever encountered with was smart enough to leave just a little bit enough of a plausible deniability so they wouldn't get in trouble with the school or whatever.
Push the line, but don't cross it, kind of thing.
And like that would almost be worse because if they crossed that line and pulled the knife on me, probably wouldn't have to deal with them anymore because they'd be in fucking juvie. But bullies are smarter than that. They want to torment you on an emotional level, and that, like, I do agree. I think Billy is kind of the only example of that being accurate.
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, go ahead.
I think they kind of just didn't have the time to go into like bullying being a major plot point, and so they wanted it to be snappy. Right?
It could be like an 80s thing in general with some certain movies, like the one that comes to I don't know, I don't think not all of them were in the 80s, but like the kind of bullying that immediately comes to mind is like the stuff that Daniel had to deal with in The Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Sort of like that. It could just be like an 80s movie sort of thing. Maybe more of a problem with 80s movies.
Well, and in The Karate Kid, it makes a little bit more sense because they're literally taking karate.
Right.
Like, they're literally like the movie is about fighting. So like it makes a little bit more sense. But even like I guess it's even in season 1 when like Nancy Wheeler's A Slut goes on, she like walks through the halls and people are just like, slut. It's like, dude, no one has ever fucking done that. Like that doesn't exist.
Like people would probably talk about that stuff in their inner circles rather than blurt it out into the hallway for everybody to hear.
It's 80s high school mythos.
It's more like an in your head sort of thing. Are these people saying this sort of behind my back?
Yeah. Or like maybe leaving some kind of subliminal messages, or like maybe leaving a note, like an anonymous note or something. But it's not just like I'm walking down the stairs in the hall, everybody is looking at me and literally being like, slut, 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 slut. It's like, dude, this is cringe. This is fucking awful.
Have it be a Game of Thrones thing.
This doesn't happen.
Instead of shame, everybody's like lining up on the sides of the halls. Slut. 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 Ding, ding, ding. Oh my god. Yeah, I definitely I agree with what you mean. I it does annoy me a little bit too, but
it's not enough. Like, it's just, I literally felt like it just for I guess for posterity's sake, because we've been more negative on Moon Knight and Kenobi. It's just like, I gotta at least be like a little.
We got to be fair.
I gotta point out like the one or two issues I have.
Yeah.
But like, unlike I said, Moon Knight and Kenobi were like 7s. I think Stranger Things as a whole is like a 9.
Yeah.
I think each season is in between a 9 and a 10. Maybe one of the seasons is like an 8.5. But like, I think
as
Stranger Things is on a whole is just a much better show than the previous 2 shows that we've reviewed.
Definitely a 9 for me overall too. Like, what do you guys think, Dom, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
About a 9 or so.
It's hard to nitpick too much about Stranger Things.
Yeah, and there's still one more season to go, so it could only, unless the ending completely flops.
Yeah.
It's like unless it's a Game of Thrones.
Oh God! Why did I have to make those references? Oh no!
Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh my God!
Hey, the cracks had already begun to show before the final season.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's not the unless you refer to the actual physical cracks in Hawkins, Illinois, or Indiana. That is definitely not the case here. Like, everything is super solid most of the way through. Very rare misses, right?
We're gonna go back to the beginning, and it's literally just gonna be a nightmare that Barb has had the entire time.
Oh my God!
Dude. Barb wakes
Bring
up
back Barb. Hashtag free Barb.
Justice for Barb.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, she definitely got the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
she died.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve it either. Like,
yeah. I remember a lot of people
nobody is saying justice for that mildly annoying kid who was on the school newspaper with Nancy who died.
Well, he was also like he was a quintessential nice guy.
Little journalist, journalist kid.
Yeah.
You know, if
literally.
anything,
sorry.
If is a criticism of season 4, we didn't really get to learn what was tormenting these people, these other people. That
the ones that got targeted.
Despite being as long as it was, they were rushing.
Yeah.
They had to.
Some of the Vecna stuff, maybe.
You mean they were Russian?
Huh.
They were Soviet-ing through the season as hard as they could.
This has been the Pointy Stick podcast.
Even with Chrissy, right? Like, she had a boyfriend who apparently didn't know what
supposedly
her trauma was.
Something with drugs,
right?
maybe, but that's about.
No, because it was something to do with her parents.
Oh, okay.
Right?
She
because
never loved her boyfriend. She loved Eddie.
Well, maybe, but like the fact that he didn't know anything about what
if she
was
had
doing,
trauma, she wouldn't have come to you. She would
kind
have
of
come
found
to
out.
me.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Yeah.
That was the one thing is like I wish I got a little bit more about why, but I guess it wasn't really relevant to the overall story.
Yeah.
So
either way, I mean,
could they justify that time? I guess they decided.
Yeah. If anything, I don't think it took away from most of everything. Yeah.
Again, it's I just wanted to bring up a couple of negatives just because we were.
It means like It means like. I mean, I'd say it for all of us. I guess it means like we. I mean, as with anything, that when you bring up like criticisms, it's like you really care about it. You want it to be better, right? Yeah. And like because these things are so inconsequential, you'd say, not that I mean even just like being subjective things that maybe we have issue about, maybe other people don't. It's like to say that it doesn't detract from the quality of the show just speaks of how great it is and like how just. These issues aren't significant to the overall like product, right?
And it's also, I guess, for me personally, it's just to be completely fair because there were nitpicks that I had of Moon Knight and Kenobi, despite the like actual objectively bad things. There were like really small things that I brought up too, and I don't want to be like unfair of like, well, Stranger Things is a better show, so I don't have any nitpicks. Like it's just like there are nitpicks in everything, and like they don't really matter. But to just like brush them aside and say that like they weren't there, I think is just not fair to
right. Yeah, being all gung-ho about the positives, leaving out the
Yeah.
negatives. Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, regardless, Dom and Joe, are you guys good?
Yeah.
Stefan, are you good? I think overall, this show, it's incredible. Like what they've created here, over 4 seasons, being able to add like all these additional characters, all of them finding their own niches, reasons for existing. Well, most of them, except maybe one from season 2. Even with those that were just killed off. I mean, go back like 20 minutes and listen to how much I just gushed about Eddie Munson, for God's sake. Even ones as the show progressed, becoming more significant characters that came back, and then not only that, them and the entire like kid cast, seeing them grow up along with the show, they're going to be super well known for their roles in the show. It's going to stick them for with them for a very long time, and because the shows were that good, it's going to catapult their careers, man. Like, and because of how just good actors they are so much, just I look forward to whatever they're doing next. Like, it's just so
too typecast, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Let them branch out.
But yeah, just from everything about the cast to all the references that are at least somewhat relevant to us, not being from the 80s, but still, Dungeons and Dragons, and just the music, the story, the writing, just everything in general, just such an incredible show. I'm so glad that it exists. Season 5, where the fuck are you?
Can't come fast enough.
Please, get here, please. Oh my God. But yeah, I think that about does it. I've been Cuhlaymore. Find me at the Twitter handle there. Stefan, where can they find you?
YouTube, SuperSheepin. Come watch my videos. I'm about to post my season 2 review with the other 2 losers here on Golden Kamui. And I just finished doing my voice recording for the Mass Effect video that I've been talking about for like 3 months.
Take your time, man. Honestly, like
it should be it should be out soon. I hope
it'll be fine.
It'll come out when it comes out. I promise.
You're fine, man. Honestly, like you don't owe anybody anything. Dom is still the guardian at the top of the stairs, and Joe is still the goblin in the basement. Although I guess now we could call them. Let's see. Dom is.
Don't try to find us.
Don't try to find them.
Find those other people online. Don't try to find us.
Dom is our Eddie Munson, and Joe is our Demogorgon.
No, I think he's a demodog.
A demodog. Oh. Were you guys gonna get a dog sometime? Name it Demogorgon.
Not a demodog. No.
You're not a demodog.
Call it Demogorgon.
Call it Demogorgon.
No,
we're gonna get a dog and call it Eddie.
Oh.
Get a corgi and call it Demogorgy.
Or be like Rob and get a corgi.
Oh.
Demogorgy. Oh my God. Oh, that's great. I was gonna say be like Rob and get the corgi that he wants to get and call it Short Stack before he does. I know you're watching this, Rob. Watch Arcane, goddammit.
We don't really care what you do. We don't like you.
What? I like Rob.
Oh, shut up.
We like Rob.
We like Rob. He's
like
been on
Rob.
this show before. He'll be back. Maybe for something gaming in the future. Who knows? But anyway, from all of us to all of you, this has been the Pointy Stick Podcast. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Always appreciate you. Take care and have a good evening.
Tune in next time when we do another review on some new show. It'll be awesome.
Oh my God.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. Bye-bye, everybody.